Okay, I'm Maria, and I'm going to talk to you about, or I'm going to tell you the truth about life after college. And the disclaimer is that this might not apply to all of you, but it might apply to a lot of you, so I will kind of introduce it to you. So the reason I'm giving this talk, I was pretty much where you guys are just a few years ago. I was in school working on stuff, and I wished since then that somebody prepared me for what to expect after college, particularly the pitfalls. So most of you are here, you're still studying, and you have big plans for the future. Like you're planning to graduate, find a full-time job, and do great things with your life. But there are parts of that that nobody talks about. So you plan to get a job at one of the big 4 companies, and or a startup or a medium-sized company, kind of whatever you want, and think that you're going to be set and have a happy life, like this guy. And you kind of expect your life to be eat, sleep, code, and repeat. And again, this is not everybody, but there's definitely a good number of people that, including myself when I was in college, that kind of have this idea of, that's what I want to do with my life. And you put, 110% of yourself into your work. Sometimes, though, it kind of goes as far as, something changes, and you start, really, hating programming. And you don't understand what happened. You just feel sad. And this is called burning out. No one really talks about it. Nobody told me this would happen before I actually started working. I just didn't like programming all of a sudden anymore, and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what changed. I thought I was going to be doing these great world-changing things, and then here I am rewriting a back-end web service that somebody already wrote and it already functions. And I'm just sitting there and going, what am I doing with my life? And I started questioning my identity. I always thought of myself as somebody who was infinitely curious about things and always wanted to learn something new. And all of a sudden, I didn't want to work or just think about anything at all. So what I decided to do is I ended up leaving my job. As people found out that I was leaving, they started talking to me, people from work and other places started approaching me, and I found out that actually a lot of people go through something like this at some point, shortly after graduation. And so I started studying things that I'm excited about, and I think at this point I've recovered from burnout. I'm doing computer vision stuff. This is my lane line detection algorithm. I never said I was good at it, but I'm happy. So if years later you're working your full-time job and this happens to you, just know that it's okay and you haven't lost yourself. And as one of my good friends told me one time, you'll be back. But if you need to take a break, whatever that means for you. It can mean a short break, going on a walk or switching to a different activity, or even something as simple as just getting enough sleep for once. Or it can mean something longer, a longer break, a long vacation or some time off work, or maybe even a more permanent break, changing your career path and starting to paint. So one thing to keep in mind that's important is working crazy hours and overtime is kind of it can be a direct path to burning out. And it's okay to set boundaries. Companies will burn through you and move on to the new, fresh college grads. And it's okay to worry about yourself and your health, and it's okay to say no. On the other hand, though, if you're perfectly happy spending all your free time coding, go for it. That's great too. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't force yourself if that's not what you want to do, or if you feel like it's unhealthy for you, because that could come back to bite you. When we're young and in college, it's common to feel like we will accomplish something great. And I know I felt that way, that I felt like I was smart enough to just do something to change the world. And it's not a bad thing to think that way. But sometimes you can't do it alone. Sometimes you have to, you need other people to create something groundbreaking. You can work with a team of equally smart people, and it will be just as rewarding because you got to be a part of it. And don't let yourself feel like your contributions aren't important because you're not doing something really big on your own. It's rarely that you can make a big change in the world alone. Often you have to realize that you need a team to work with you. This all might not resonate with you now, but if at some point throughout your career you start feeling this way and you start feeling like something is off, hopefully you'll remember this talk and understand where it's coming from.